Hello, America. Let's talk about something that's drier than a saltine cracker convention, Social Security. But hold on, this time it's actually good news. On January 6, 2025, President Biden signed the Social Security Fairness Act into law. This act brings much-needed relief to millions of Americans, particularly those who dedicated their lives to public service. For years, public servants like teachers, firefighters, and police officers faced unfair penalties when it came to their hard-earned Social Security benefits. This was due to provisions called the Windfall Elimination Provision, or WEP, and the Government Pension Offset, or GPO. These provisions reduced their benefits, often significantly, just because they also had a government pension. Talk about adding insult to injury. Well, America, I'm happy to report that the Social Security Fairness Act has finally put an end to this injustice. The Act completely repeals both WEP and GPO, ensuring that public servants receive the full Social Security benefits they deserve. This is a major victory for fairness and common sense. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the intricacies of Social Security, and let's face it, who is, let's break down what WEP and GPO actually did. Imagine working your tail off for years, paying into Social Security with every paycheck, only to be told that you won't receive the full benefits you were promised. That's precisely what WEP did to public servants. It reduced their Social Security benefits based on a complex formula that took into account their government pensions. This meant that many public servants, especially those with long careers, received significantly lower Social Security checks than they would have otherwise. And if that wasn't bad enough, GPO came along and added insult to injury for spouses and surviving spouses of public servants. GPO reduced the spousal or survivor benefits they were entitled to receive based on their spouse's government pension. This meant that spouses who worked hard to raise families and support their partners were also penalized, often losing out on hundreds of dollars in monthly benefits. Talk about a raw deal. With the repeal of WEP and GPO, nearly 3 million Americans are expected to see a significant boost in their Social Security benefits. Public sector retirees, including those covered by the Civil Service Retirement System, or CSRS, stand to gain the most. On average, they can expect to see their monthly checks increase by about $360. But it's not just retirees who benefit. Current public sector workers, including teachers, police officers, firefighters, and other essential workers, will also see a difference in their future Social Security benefits. The repeal of WEP ensures that their benefits will be calculated fairly without any penalties for having a government pension. And let's not forget about the spouses and surviving spouses of public servants. With the elimination of GPO, they can finally breathe a sigh of relief, knowing that they will receive the full spousal or survivor benefits they are entitled to. On average, spouses can expect to see their benefits increase by around $700 per month, while surviving spouses could see an increase of $1,190 per month. That's real money that can make a real difference in their lives. GAP 2S. Let's dive deeper into the impact of the Social Security Fairness Act on different demographics. First, let's consider younger public servants who are just starting their careers. For these individuals, the repeal of WEP and GPO means they can plan their financial futures with more certainty. They can expect their Social Security benefits to be calculated fairly, ensuring that their contributions to both their government pensions and Social Security are fully recognized. This financial stability can make public sector jobs more attractive to the younger workforce, potentially leading to a surge in talented individuals entering essential public service roles. Now, what about those who are nearing retirement? For these seasoned professionals, the changes brought by the Social Security Fairness Act are nothing short of transformative. Many have spent decades in public service, often sacrificing higher salaries available in the private sector. The elimination of WEP and GPO means they can finally enjoy the full benefits they've earned, providing them with a more comfortable and secure retirement. But the impact doesn't stop with individuals. The broader economic implications of this act are significant. By increasing the financial stability of millions of Americans, the repeal of WEP and GPO can lead to increased consumer spending, which in turn can stimulate economic growth. Public servants with their enhanced financial security are likely to invest more in their communities, whether through local businesses, housing, or education. Furthermore, this act sets a precedent for future social security policies. It sends a clear message that fairness and equity are paramount, and it could pave the way for additional reforms aimed at ensuring that all workers, regardless of their sector, receive the benefits they deserve. This ripple effect could lead to a more robust and equitable social security system for generations to come. So as we look ahead, it's clear that the Social Security Fairness Act is not just a win for current public servants, but a cornerstone for future policy that prioritizes fairness and economic stability for all Americans. GAP 2S. GAP 2S. In this chapter, we'll hear directly from the public servants who have been living under the shadow of WEP and GPO. Their stories provide a powerful testament to the real-world significance of the Social Security Fairness Act and why it's such a crucial piece of legislation. GAP 1S. Meet Sarah, a dedicated teacher who has spent the last 30 years shaping young minds. Despite her decades of hard work, Sarah's retirement plans were clouded by uncertainty due to the WEP reduction. I always believed that my years of service would be honored, but WEP made me question my financial future. The repeal of WEP means I can retire with dignity and security, she shares, her voice filled with relief. GAP 1S. Now let's hear from Mark, a firefighter who has risked his life countless times to keep his community safe. Mark's story is one of sacrifice and service. GPO felt like a penalty for dedicating my life to public service. Knowing that my family will be financially secure after my retirement brings me immense peace, Mark says, his eyes reflecting the weight lifted off his shoulders. GAP 1S. Finally, we have Officer Jane, a police officer who has seen it all. From patrolling streets to responding to emergencies, Jane's commitment to her community is unwavering. The Social Security Fairness Act is more than just a policy change. It's recognition of our hard work. It ensures that we're not penalized for serving the public, Jane explains, her voice steady but emotional. GAP 1S. These testimonials are a stark reminder of the human impact behind legislative changes. The Social Security Fairness Act isn't just about numbers on a page, it's about restoring fairness and dignity to those who have given so much to their communities. GAP 2S. By listening to these voices from the front line, we gain a deeper understanding of why this act is not just necessary, but overdue. It's a step towards ensuring that all public servants, whether they're teaching our children, fighting fires, or keeping our streets safe, receive the full benefits they deserve. GAP 2S. GAP 2S. Finally, let's look ahead. What are the next steps for Social Security reform? While the Social Security Fairness Act is a significant milestone, it's just one part of the broader conversation about the future of Social Security. Our GAP 1S potential future changes could include adjustments to the retirement age, modifications to benefit calculations, or even new funding mechanisms to ensure the program's solvency for future generations. These changes could have far-reaching implications for all Americans, particularly as our society continues to age. GAP 1S. To better understand these potential reforms, we'll explore some of the key proposals currently being debated. For instance, some experts suggest implementing a more progressive benefit formula that provides greater support to low-income workers. Others advocate for increasing the payroll tax cap so that higher earners contribute more to the system. GAP 1S. But policy changes don't happen in a vacuum. They require informed and engaged citizens to push for meaningful reform. If you're interested in learning more or getting involved in advocacy efforts, there are numerous resources available. Organizations like the National Committee to Preserve Social Security and Medicare, the AARP, and local advocacy groups provide valuable information and opportunities to make your voice heard. GAP 1S. By staying informed and active, we can all play a role in shaping the future of Social Security. Together, we can ensure that this vital program continues to provide financial security and dignity to all Americans, now and in the future. GAP 2S. Now, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great, but what's the catch? Well, there is a cost associated with this much-needed fix. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that repealing WEP and GPO will cost around $200 billion over the next decade. That's a lot of dough, even by government standards. But here's the thing. This is an investment worth making. For too long, public servants have been shortchanged by a system that was supposed to protect them. This act finally rights that wrong and ensures that everyone who pays into Social Security receives the full benefits they deserve. The Social Security Administration is currently working on implementing these changes. and beneficiaries can expect to see the increased payments reflected in their checks starting in December 2025. And for those who have been patiently waiting since January 2024, retroactive payments will be issued to cover the difference. So there you have it, America. The Social Security Fairness Act is a win for public servants, a win for fairness, and a win for common sense. And in a world where good news is about as common as a sober night out for Charlie Sheen, that's something worth celebrating.